if you had $1,000, what would you spend it on? Personally, I would spend it on a computer. But should you buy a PC or a Mac? PCs are more cost effective than Macs. According to Simtrex on August 23rd, 2018, based on performance versus price comparisons, PCs are overwhelmingly cheaper than Macs. I have spent many hours researching various PCs and Macs and have been interested in and learning about computers for years. The main specifications to compare to determine which computer to buy are the processor, memory, and storage, which I have shown for you for various laptops. First, let's compare the processors. So, the Dell XPS 13 has a more powerful processor than the MacBook Air. The top bullet point on those two laptops is the processor. And if you notice, in that text, information about it, it says Intel Core. What that means is these processors are made by Intel, which is one of several makers of processors. And what this also means is that since they both say Intel Core, you can look at the frequency, the clock speed, and the number of cores, and you can directly compare them to find out what performance they have. So what is clock speed? Clock speed is the number of times a processor cycles per second, and it's measured in gigahertz. It's the number and then capital GH and lowercase z in that list of information. Another thing to look at is the number of cores in each processor. So cores are basically individual smaller processors inside of a processor. So what having multiple cores means is that the processor can process more things at once and it can process things faster. So it has more overall performance. According to Business Insider on May 30th, 2018, you don't get much choice when it comes to the processor and RAM in Macs with Macs, for example, which dictates how much power the computer has and how smoothly it will run. So with these two laptops, if you look at the speeds of the two processors, the MacBook Air has a 1.1 gigahertz 2-core processor, and the Dell has a 1.6 gigahertz 4-core processor. So the Dell has twice the number of cores, and they're running at a higher speed. So it has over double the processing performance as the MacBook Air. Next, let's compare the memory between these two laptops. The Dell XPS 13 has the same amount of memory as the MacBook Air. However, if you look closely, you'll notice that the memory speeds are different. The MacBook Air actually has a faster memory speed listed. However, the processor speed makes more of a difference to the overall system performance than the memory speed. Finally, let's compare the storage between these laptops. The Dell XPS 13 has the same amount of and type of storage as the MacBook Air. According to PC Mag on May 30th, 2018, as for internal components, things like the CPU, graphics card, and storage, there's no contest. Windows gives you a lot more leeway in configuring a system with the components you want and more flexibility to upgrade later. So the XPS 13 has the capability to upgrade the storage drive to a larger or faster one down the line. The MacBook Air does not have that capability. Being able to upgrade the drive also means that it makes data recovery much easier, because if the computer dies, you can simply remove the drive and put it in another computer and recover your data, as opposed to in the MacBook having to repair the entire machine. As you can see, the Dell XPS 13 is a much better value than the MacBook Air. In conclusion, the main specifications to compare to determine which computer to buy are the processor, memory, and storage. According to Computer Cures on April 3rd, 2020, when you purchase a PC, laptop, or desktop computer, you'll get a lot more bang for your buck in terms of hardware.